Well, for the fourth time this season, the Arizona State Sun Devils lose a one-score ball game tonight against the visiting Stanford Cardinal, their first loss in Sun Devil Stadium, 20-13 final score. Hello, everyone. Scotty Gange here with editor of HouseOfSparky.com, Brady Vernon. And Brady, let's just get right into it. The offense was supremely below par today. What can you take away from tonight's performance?
Well, obviously, like you said, they've lost another game by one score. In those games, they've scored 21 points twice, 20 points, and now 13 tonight. I generally believe that maybe everyone needs to take a step back and reevaluate this entire offense. Herm does want to go run heavy. Benjamin was very ineffective tonight. I don't remember the true stats, but I think Manny Wilkins might have outrushed him. I don't generally know if they're giving themselves enough opportunity to score the football. In the Pac-12 and just college football in itself, most teams don't win a whole lot of games when you score an average of 20 points or below. And maybe they're just not giving themselves enough chances. Like, yeah, they run the clock, but they're still not winning time of possession. The first half, Stanford had the ball for 20 minutes compared to the ASU's 10. So I think things need to be looked at. I think everyone needs to kind of reevaluate what's going on with this offense because the defense is stepping up enough where they can win a lot more ball games.
You know, Benjamin, under 20 rush yards in the first half, and from a guy that has the all-time record in single-game rush yards, about 18 rush yards in just one half is not a good look for the Arizona State Sun Devils. But let's switch it from to Manny. After the game in the post-game press conference, visibly sad, tears through his eyes, and actually it looked like he might have ended it early. What can you take away from Manny's performance tonight? There was a couple ups, but a lot of lows tonight for Manny.
Like you said, Manny Wilkins entered the press conference very emotional. For those who didn't see the true last play, clock was winding down, no timeouts. They're on Stanford's 25. Throws a check down the Benjamin inside the hashes. Benjamin has no shot to get out of bounds. Clock rolls, game over. Manny said, "There's no reason I should ever make that throw. I need to just throw it at his feet. Just got to give my team a chance." Manny talked about the turnovers, the fumble, which, to be fair, the Stanford player made a very good play on it. The pick was more his fault. He said that as well, and he truly just felt like he let his team down. And you're right, it wasn't his best performance. And I don't know if they're truly, like I said earlier, if they're letting Manny Wilkins play his best football. And yes, they're asking him to throw a lot of screen passes and whatnot, but he didn't have a good night tonight, and like he said, he's running out of time. He has 5, maybe 6 games left in the Sun Devil uniform, and this one really hurt him hard as much as any ASU fan. Yeah,
and you've got to think, the fourth loss of the season, and as we've said a number of times, just one-possession games in all of those. All of them are easily grabbable, and you're not going to win every single game, but at least if you're Manny Wilkins and the Sun Devils, you would hope you would have grabbed one or two of those tough contests. Going forward, how can they bounce back after losing so many games by just such a short margin?
Well, I think there's a lot of context we also have to take into this. San Diego State, they're down 2 possessions pretty late. San Diego State wasn't playing tough defense. That game only got tight because they made an error, fumbled late when they shouldn't have even been running the ball right there. You should have just gone down. So that was an easy touchdown. Tonight, they're down 2 scores. Yeah, they got within 1 with 8 minutes left, but did they play their best football? No. It was crazy if you really looked at this game and thought, oh, it's a 1 possession with 8 minutes left. I don't know why or how. It's just how football works sometimes, or the game happens to be close because just the way it is. Stanford's going to be a team that grinds it out. That being said, the Washington game was the same exact thing. They were down 2 scores, made it back into 1. So there's context to it. When you run the ball and the way this offense runs, I just don't think they're giving themselves enough opportunity. They go into panic mode, and then somehow something always works out, and they get within 1 score. Well, the efficiency in panic mode needs to happen throughout the entire game, and they're not in these situations when they're constantly trailing.
Right, and we'll praise the Sun Devils. We'll be the first ones to do that, and we'll be the first ones to also notice when they played poorly. They did play poorly tonight. There were several phenomenal plays, a deep pass to Frank Darby, a couple other ones, and really, they were 13 yards away from sending this game into overtime, and so it was just right there at their fingertips. They weren't able to grab it, but defensively, at least in the first half, they were pretty much unstoppable at Sun Devil defensive unit. What can we take away from them tonight?
This season, they're heading in the right steps. That young, talented defense, it just seems to keep getting better. There's still the mental mistakes, though. Sorry, Crosswell, very talented safety, was a 4-star coming out, had 3 or 4 penalties. Keep in mind, maybe some of them are 50-50 with the officiating. I know that's going to be a big topic after this. But don't give the refs an opportunity to call those plays. Yes, they might not be bad, but there's something there on each one of them. It's eliminating those, and that's what's been talked about the entire season. And yes, they're freshmen. They're first year playing Division I football. We're at the point, we're 8 weeks into the actual game season. These guys aren't really freshmen anymore. They know what they're doing. Those need to be cut out. There's no more excuses for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a young defense. We can't stray away from that, but they're deep into the year, and there's been several of them that have stood out. Ashari Crosswell, I'd say, especially played a very solid game tonight. He had those mistakes, but all around, I'd say he did a pretty good job.
And that's true. But when you're in a one-score game, you microscope those mistakes. One of them was 3rd and long. Costello threw an incomplete pass and extended the drive. It's field possession. Herm Edwards talked about it in the same way. So, yes, going forward, sorry, Cross will probably be a fantastic player. There's plenty of guys, Merlin Robinson, Darian Butler, great freshman group. And, yes, the defense is heading the right direction. Danny Gonzalez is doing a phenomenal job, I believe. I didn't think the ASU defense was going to be where it was today. And I think you, once again, turn around, look at this game, it's on the offense.
Yeah, it really is, and we're going to kind of get away from the play of the Sun Devils. I want to point out, Thursday night game, it's the first time we've done that since the opening game of last season, and that was, all the hype of game one of the 2017 season then. It felt awkward tonight at Sun Devil Stadium. There was not many people. Everybody was in either school, work, or whatsoever. It just felt different in the stadium tonight. Do you agree?
Yeah, very much so. The 6 o'clock start was a little bit dreadful. The Cardinals were playing a home game as well tonight. I don't know why there was no communication. I'm just glad I live in Tempe and didn't have to deal with traffic. But, yeah, it was just odd. Like, the student section was there for most of it, which props to them. But, yeah, it was a maroon, not monsoon. It was like a little storm of just maroon scattered across Sun Devil Stadium. There just wasn't a whole lot of feeling in the stadium. Keep in mind, the game is very slow, boring. It's just how the two teams play nowadays. But, I don't know. There wasn't much to it. Stadium wasn't fantastic like it was for Michigan State. Maybe that involves the Cardinals Thursday night. A lot of factors. Who knows?
Right, and from a awkward stadium tonight to next Saturday, they're going to be going to one of the most historic, legendary, and normally ridiculously loud and energetic stadiums in the Coliseum in Los Angeles. You got to believe the Sun Devils are going to put this away as fast as possible. And looking forward to their matchup against USC. What can we expect next Saturday?
Well, thanks to the Thursday night game, they now have extra days to prep for USC. But they got to get in a better state of mind. Obviously, Manny Wilkins will be heard going at himself about tonight's game, but you got to move on. No longer affects you, and he's a senior. He knows that. But things need to start changing, or we can't have another road debacle where it's this happens there, this happens there, another mental mistake. Like we've said constantly throughout this whole process tonight, is these things need to change, and the USC game will be not like a test of where they are, but where they are going forward. It's going to be a very tough matchup. The USC is starting to find themselves. They just blew out Colorado, who hadn't lost a Pac-12 game. And anytime you're at the Coliseum, it is a tough time. And we're going to see how they rebound from this with extra days and how they come out with that SC game. Maybe they don't win it. It's a tough time, but you need to see improvements through the offense. You need to see them constantly stabilizing drives, don't have the turnovers. And then on defense, you got to try to get those mental mistakes out of the way.
Yeah, ASU 5 games left in the regular season. USC, Utah, UCLA, Oregon, and Arizona. You got to think if they can run the table, then they're going to set themselves up for a good bowl game. But right now, they are on their heels, and they've really got to step up in these last 5 games. It's almost, at least seems to me, that it's, for lack of a better term, win or go home.
Yeah, and a lot of these teams are probably at the same range as ASU, caliber-wise. UTSA, Oregon State, they're clearly better than. They showed that. Michigan State just got back in the top 25. Stanford will be in the top 25 after this week because they came in at 26. Could ASU be there? Probably. If one or two of these games go the other way, being one score. Same thing, Colorado's like right on the bleak. It's seeing where you are with those caliber teams. You won't see that with UCLA. UCLA is just not very good. Oregon, probably a lot better then, but maybe USC, Arizona, Utah. That's where you're going to see, can they beat teams of their caliber better? And once again, reverting all of that, got to fix everything that we described earlier.
Sun Devils will have about 10 days until they go to the Coliseum, and really for Arizona State, it's the only thing we can say is time will tell what this season turns out to be, and really it's the players and the coaches and the entire staff of the ASU football team that can turn this season around, and they still have a chance. They're running out of time, of course, but they still have a chance, and we really are going to have to see that starting next Saturday and the weekends after that. But next Saturday, ASU heading to Los Angeles to play USC at the Coliseum. For one more time, he's Brady Vernon. I'm Scotty Gange. House of Sparky will be in Los Angeles next Saturday, and we'll see you there.